Hey, welcome back to the channel. So why am I out here in this Texas heat and this sun blazing hot, high humidity with the RV here at the house? Well, guess what? It is hurricane season, and we do have a storm down in the Atlantic right now, Hurricane Beryl, which is, as of today, intensified to a Category 4. Now, hurricane season runs June 1st through November 30th of this year, and each year we always prepare our RV to be ready to go since we part-time, and we also have to evacuate horses, so we gotta make sure everything's ready to go. Now, the interesting part is, I looked to see if there are any videos or any checklists, anything else that other people do with their RVs that are not full-timing to prepare their RV to evacuate, and I didn't find any. So I decided to basically go through what we do to prepare our RV for evacuation, not only for our family, our dogs, but also the horses. Something to think about, so stay tuned. So I decided to come in here just for a few minutes in the RV and cool off in the air conditioning. Hopefully it's not too loud. We do have a cool RV AC Connect in our front unit that really quiets down the noise level, so to speak, of the AC units. But as you know, those of us in RVs, these air conditioners are still loud no matter what you do. So hopefully it's not a distraction. Now, preparing for a hurricane is something you need to seriously think about. I was born and raised in South Florida. So I've been around hurricanes my entire life. Now live in the Houston area, so in the Gulf Coast of Texas. We get hurricanes here also. And I've also had RVs most of my life. So I have a choice, either leave the RV behind or take it with us. Now here we have to usually take it with us when we evacuate because we have to evacuate with horses and our animals. It's easier to take the RV and then go into a hotel. However, before I get to our checklist, what we do for RV for hurricanes, let's talk about what you do or what you should do if you leave your RV behind. Just take a couple minutes for that. So if you decide to leave your RV behind, there's a couple of things you need to think of. One is your safety is the most important thing. You think about your RV, it is a large, either a travel trailer or Class A or whatever size you have, it's a large sail. So if you're trying to evacuate during high winds, it might not be the best mode of transportation. I can tell you when we evacuated during the Harvey, we had a last minute to get out here with the horses, and driving wind gusts over 70 miles per hour in a Class A was exciting. But you know, pulling horses, we had to do what we had to get out of here. I do not recommend to do what we did, but we did what was necessary. So always think about your safety and your family's safety if you're evacuating. And is your RV either hauling or a trailer behind you, a fifth wheel, or taking your RV Class A, Class B, Class C, Super C, etc., the safest thing to do. Second thing you need to think about is your RV insurance. If you're leaving it behind, is your RV covered for storm damage, flood damage, etc.? Make sure you put it in the right place to keep it out of harm's way as best you can. So that's something to think about when you leave it behind. Third thing that we do is go around the outside of the RV. If we do have to leave it behind, inspect everything. Make sure all the windows are closed. Make sure all the seals are sealed. Roof vents are closed. Even though we have max air covers on ours, we make sure all the vents are closed. Everything's sealed up because high wind, driving rain can get in a lot of different places, not only in your home, but in your RV. So you make sure all the seals are good. So that's something to think about when you are preparing your RV to leave it behind for a hurricane or even a tropical storm. Now think about the inside of the RV. Is everything inside the RV secured? In other words, is there anything that's laying on counters? Maybe you want to put things away in the RV in case it starts rocking, shaking back and forth. Hopefully it doesn't flip over, but securing things on the inside is something you need to think about, that either you put it in a safe location, like put it in the shower, put it in the sink, or move it into a cabinet, get things off the counters if you have to have it set up. Something to think about the safety of the items on the inside of the RV. The fifth thing to think about is protecting important documents. Now in the RV, we carry, of course, insurance, registration. This is the Class A. We also carry copies of the vaccination records for our dogs, the coggins for the horses. All those documents are here in the RV. As a matter of fact, we even carry a copy of our policy for our home in case we are away and we have any questions about insurance coverage, or we need to follow up with the insurance company. We hear about there's damage and we are not here at the house. So with that said, so to speak, make sure those are protected. We actually put them in a Ziploc bag and put them up in the cabinet. I wish I could put a clip in there. Those of you who watched the movie RV, you remember when Robin Williams is in the lake and they got the RV out of there and had just met with the soda company. He opens the cabinet above the driver's side. All that water pours out and tries to get the registration out. Good idea to make sure that you have your important documents that are in a Ziploc bag and protected. Now, The sixth thing to think about is your RV in a secure location. Is it near trees? Are the branches that come down on top of it? Is there a lot of debris and material around the RV that could damage the RV? Is it at your house, for example? Is that the safest place? Or would it be better if it was in a storage unit or a friend's house or somewhere else where you could store it while you evacuate? Something you need to consider for the safety not only of the RV, but those around the RV. The final part is slides. Make sure they're in. Make sure your slide toppers are secure if you have those. Make sure the awning's in. But also, how you face the RV, your travel trailer, etc., can also make a big difference. For ours, for example, we have a lot of windows on this side. You can see here we have the main slide here. This is where the living room is, and the dinette, and the bathroom. Not the bathroom, our bedroom in the back. You see very large windows on this side of the RV. This is the side of the RV that we would not want facing the wind as a tropical storm or hurricane is coming on shore in our area. What we want to do is, for our RV, for example, on the back, there's nothing. Matter of fact, this is what we try to do when we are at an RV site. I try to look at the map and try to get one where the west is at the rear. So there are no windows to deal with heat. So that's a big thing to do here in Texas. But no windows in the back here. And on this side, minimal windows on this side, because the counterclockwise version of the wind coming on, I want to have these sides facing the wind as much as possible and not the side with all the windows. Now, you can't be perfect because these things are circular, and as they pass through, it depends where you are. And they do move if you left it behind. You want to try to do as best you can, make sure that it is protected, and get the sides of your RV, whether your travel trailer, your RV, etc., Class A, the two sides or the sides that have the least amount of windows facing the wind as much as possible. So let's talk about the items you need, as I call additional items for evacuation. Maybe a little different than what you carry for your normal equipment in your RV for record camping. For example, for us, I have 50 feet of water hose in this compartment, two 25-footers that I use. One is the main one is a spare. Also a great one for if I'm gonna do a tank flush. But if we are evacuating for a hurricane, I also carry a 50-footer that we've had to use a couple of times. For example, when we evacuated during Harvey to the Rose Palace over in the Bernie area of San Antonio, we were at the rodeo grounds at Silver Palace. And since there's so many RVs, horse trailers, etc. there, we had to do our best to get water to our rig. So it actually took 75 feet of hose to get water to our rig. So I'm glad I had the extra amount of hose with us. Also, make sure you have any additional equipment as far as cooking wise. So you have a Blackstone there we carry all the time, and also a Coleman grill up here that we carry. Power cord, usually in there, but it's already out. So on the unit, we have a 25-foot power cord, but also we carry a 50-footer and stuff to be able to extend out if we need to get to a power pedestal that might not be close to us, especially if you're sharing with a bunch of other rigs that are with you. So make sure you have extra power cords with you. We also carry a 50-foot, 25-foot, and 100-foot 110 cords in here, heavy gauge, in case we need to run power anywhere we need to. For example, we need them for fans and stuff like that for the horses. So make sure you have the extra equipment with you. Now, that said, we do have extra carrying capacity in a Class A. Make sure all the equipment you have does not put you overweight on your rig. So something to keep in mind. Now, something else to think about, additional equipment you might need and or accessories or items, so to speak, when you are evacuating for a hurricane. And that is additional sewer hose. Now, we always carry that with us. It's in this compartment right here. We can go, 3 seconds, we can go 20, 40, we almost 50 feet. Like I said, we're 55 feet of sewer hose that we carry with us, just in case. That's happened to us a few times at rodeos, especially, for example, when we go to the World Show for the American Paint Horse Association in Fort Worth. If we leave the horse trailer attached to the back, we have to run our sewer hose about 50 feet to get to the actual dump part, because we leave the trailer attached to the back of the RV. Something to think about. Make sure you have all these additional items with you, because you never know what you're going to face during a hurricane evacuation. Especially if you're in a large metropolitan area like we are here in Houston. There are a lot of people trying to evacuate. They take their rigs with it, go to a campground, everything is overloaded. For example, during Harvey, down at our fairgrounds here in Brazoria County, they had 375 units down there evacuated with their horses, in one location. So you can imagine the chaos that's going on there, just trying to find the space, trying to find power, trying to find water. So make sure you have everything you need, be prepared. Something else to think about, water filters. We actually carry two of these, carry them in horse trailer too. It's very good for the horse water. We have not tried the new Taste Pure ones, just came out from Camco. We're gonna try those out. But we also have an onboard water filter, a 2-stage. We always carry these. Something to think about when you go to some of these campgrounds, fairgrounds, etc. during a evacuation. Water might not be the best, so you need to be prepared. Also, what if you have a 50 amp rig or 30 amp rig and you don't have that particular power available to you at the site you're at during evacuation? Make sure you have your dog bones in the RV ready to go. So this one here happens to be a 50 amp to 30 amp. And then we have a 30 amp to 110 or 20 amp, so to speak. Make sure we have both of these ready to go in case we need to adapt to the power at the location we're at. So make sure you have those in the rig with you. Water pressure is something you need to think about when you're at some place you're not used to being at, maybe a non-traditional RV spot, such as you're mooch docking at a friend's house. You find some place you can pull over, such as a fairground, other locations you can set up your rig at. You have no idea what kind of water pressure you're going to have. So having any kind of water pressure regulator is very important. So you can have the standard ones like this is a 40 PSI, this is a 50 PSI, high flow, orange and blue, right? These work, not the best. We keep them as backups. We prefer the adjustable type. Here you can adjust the pressure. We usually leave this set at 50, 55 PSI. Works extremely well. It's a high flow unit, so something that you should have in your rig anyway. And here's something that I made. I've been carrying this particular one here for over 30 years. It has a shut-off valve. It has a pressure gauge. You can buy these two components, one from your RV supply shop, or Amazon, etc. And you can buy this either on Amazon or down at Lowe's or Home Depot. And what you do is you screw this onto the faucet, close this valve here, open the valve, and you can see immediately what the pressure is before even hooking your rig up. And of course, to bleed it, you just open this valve right here, it bleeds it off, and you hook it up. You can leave this hooked up if you want to, but you should take it off since we have the pressure regulator. This way I can verify the pressure at the location we're at before I even hook up anything to the unit. Something to think about. Holy mackerel, it is crazy hot outside. Right now it is a little after 6 o'clock in the evening. It is 93 still outside here in south of Houston with a heat index of 108. The humidity is just brutal outside. You're trying to film. See, I'm already starting to sweat. Oh, what can you do, right? So, something to think about. Do you fill your fresh water tank all the way to the top? Now, in some rigs, it can put you over the weight limit. For us, we actually weighed this rig, so we're fine. But also, since we take a lot of animals, we take a couple of dogs, we take 3 horses. Actually, when my daughter follows with hers, we take a total of 4 horses. So we have to make sure we have water on the rig here. We carry water in the trailer also for the horses, because sometimes you have to stop on the side of the road and make sure they have water. So I do rinse and fill at the beginning of each season our freshwater tank and make sure it is full all the way in case we need to get out in a hurry. So it is ready to go. And something I use is this drinking water refresher here from Camco. I know some of you use bleach and stuff. I prefer to use this. I've been using this for years since they came out with it. It works well, just 1 ounce per 20 gallons. And for us, we put 2.5 ounces in for our fresh water capacity. And it keeps it fresh. No algae, no other things growing inside there. You don't want that when you're on the road. So something to think about. So for us, we carry full water on board for evacuation. I'd like to hear from you guys what you do in the comments. Put a comment below how much water you carry if you're evacuating in your RV. So up here in the front of the rig, a couple of things to think of. Our important documents are up here. They're in Ziploc bags. Inside that carrier right there is where we carry our important documents. As I mentioned before, the vaccination records for our dogs, make sure they're up to date in case you need to board them anywhere or you go to evacuation shelter where you need to maybe put your pets at. Make sure your vaccination records are with you. The coggins for the horses, we keep paper copies here. We also have them on our phone, so we have electronic versions. Our insurance documents, matter of fact, I said before, we carry also a copy of our policy, even though we can get to it online. But for example, during the ice freeze, we lost cellular service. And so you could not even get online. So make sure we carry a paper copy of that. Another thing is fuel. So during hurricane season, we make sure that the rig is topped off at all times. As you know, especially Class A's, they burn a lot of fuel. So you don't want to be starting to search for fuel when everyone else is doing the same thing. We learned a lesson during Ike, for example. We had a full tank and we were able to go from here all the way to Louisiana, no problem. There were a lot of people that were stuck on the highway, especially I-45, trying to get off Galveston Island, trying to get north from Hurricane Ike, and could not find fuel anywhere. Everyone ran out, and it was a problem. Then during Harvey, of course, production shut down here in this part of the Gulf of Mexico, which produced about 80% of the fuel for the United States, and you couldn't get fuel at any of the stations in the area. So we almost ran out in the San Antonio area, but luckily we started out with a full tank. Like I told you before, it took us 9 hours to get there. So we make sure that the fuel tank is topped off and ready to go during hurricane season. Do you do the same thing? In our rig, we have to carry flashlights in the drawer over here. We have 5 small flashlights. They're LEDs. Make sure the batteries are up to date on those and they're ready to go. So we have to put new batteries in. We also have a couple by the door. We have a couple in the bedroom area. So we have plenty of flashlights. With that said, this bin right here is all batteries, right? And also LED lights. Like this rechargeable LED light from, this happens to be from the Orange store, right? We have 2 of these. They have magnets on the back. They have a charge port you can plug your phone in. Since these are rechargeable, they use a USB-C to charge, and they are crazy bright. Let me turn that down. I blind the camera. We carry a couple of those in the RV simply because they work extremely well, even when we're just normally camping. But it gives us power, but also gives us the ability, besides our other spare batteries we carry, to charge our phones. So just another safety item to think about. Now, something else we carry, you don't have to, but we do. Plus, we use it anyway when we're backing in the sites. Pull this one out here. Is we carry Motorola radios. Actually, we have 5 of them in here. Before, when the kids were younger, these things worked out great. Before they had cell phones, they could be running around the campground. We could call them on these radios. These bigger ones are rechargeable, but also use AAA batteries. So these have been working for years. We carry these, and right now these 2 are ready to go. We're backing the site if I need some help from Debbie. She can talk to me. There's no delay like you get on a cell phone. Those of you who tried a cell phone, if you notice when you talk, there's a delay. By the time it goes to all the different towers back to the person. And by the time they say, stop, you already hit something. So something to think about. We carry these. Like I said before, both during Harvey and Ike, we lost cell service on AT&T and Verizon. And having these made a difference just for communication around the campground, back and forth where the horse is at, or even vehicle to vehicle. Now, cooking on the road, of course, you have your range top here. I don't know if you were like Debbie and I, we hardly ever use this thing. We only use it if it's pouring down rain. We'll use this because it heats up the rig. We use a lot of the microwave and the convection oven, but most of the time we were using the Blackstone or our gas grill myself for cooking on the outside. We also carry a Coleman stove, 2-burner, that runs on propane. So, very important, we carry, during hurricane season, 6 bottles, the little 1-pound bottles of propane. Yes, I know I should put in a T and put in a hose I can run to the units, but since we use multiple things, a lot of times we'll have the smoker going that runs on propane and wood chips, we'll have the Blackstone going, and we'll have probably the grill going, and that's 3 things using propane, and putting a T in with 1 line just wasn't worth it. So we carry a lot of the little 1-pound bottles. So make sure you have those because those go very quick during a hurricane. Now our unit is not fully stocked right now, but what we do is this weekend, we're starting to pack it because the barrel's coming through the Atlantic right now to make sure we have the essentials we need food-wise in the RV. Now we usually carry the basics all the time, all the spices, plates, oils and stuff are in the cabinet over there. But in the pantry, we carry basics also. A container of rice, we have a rice cooker in the back, some canned goods. We'll increase the number of canned goods now because we burn through them during the camping season or during the winter time. Now we have different, Debbie's favorite. She loves this with Tito's vodka. What about you? Would you like this, cranberry and vodka? I think it's her favorite. Very important you carry that. And here, some little wines for cooking, oils. We got some sesame oil since we do a lot of Asian cooking. So we will increase this. I have a list that I need to work on to increase our stores that we're ready to go in case we need to evacuate. Our daughter and her friends, the rodeo girls, do have some favorites, so we make sure those are in the RV. So lo mein noodles, I do like beef, either beef lo mein or chicken lo mein. Make sure the noodles are in here, and you just pick up the protein along the way, or you can pack it ahead of time. And also just ramen, that's easy to carry in the RV. And I used up all the spaghetti noodles when I made a pasta dish, and I need to put those back in there. So dry goods, things that are easy to store, they're non-perishable. Put what you like in there. Might as well do it now instead of trying to find it right before a storm coming on shore. Those of us that live in hurricane areas, whether it be in the Gulf Coast or in the East Coast, you've seen it when a storm's getting close, you go to the store, it is wiped out. For example, during the Harvey, going to H-E-B, it's near us, you're literally in line at checkout for an hour. That's how many people were there. And there was nothing left in the store. So make sure you're ready to go, get your stuff packed, and you'll be thankful later on that you did that ahead of time. Now, this is probably impossible to see, there's an echo inside here, but, whew, deodorant. Everything's stocked and ready to go, including first aid. First aid kits up front. We carry additional items in here. Toothpaste, everything's ready to go. Only thing my wife would have to pack if she wanted to bring with her is makeup. Everything we have is already in the RV. We don't have to bring it from the house into the RV. Toothpaste, hair products, anything we might need, dental floss, it's all in here. Extra soap, shampoos are all down here and also in the shower. Toilet paper. Make sure you have toilet paper packed. We always carry extra. Matter of fact, we have 2 8-packs in here right now ready to go. That should last us, what, 3 days or so? What about you? How long is it? No, I'm not going to go there. So, having everything ready to go in the RV, basically all we need to do is throw some clothes in here, and we are good to go. So a couple other items to think about. We do carry a full case of water, 40 bottles, Mozarka. We carry that on board with us, ready to go. So we have bottled water in case we need it. Plus it tastes good. So we carry a full case of that at all times, ready for evacuation. Electronics is something else. Do you have all your charge cables? For us, it might cost you extra money at the beginning, but we have all the charge cables we need here in the RV. So we don't have to worry about if we left them at home, charge blocks, cables, etc. We have everything we need here in the RV to charge our phones, charge our battery backups, to charge our cameras, charge anything, even laptops. We keep everything here on board, so we don't have to worry about carrying it back and forth to the house. So something to think about. Might be a little additional expense right off the bat. However, you're ready to go. You don't have to worry about it and not paying high prices you might find at a truck stop. Now, a phone charger, right? You go into a Love's, like I said, that'll be $29. You're like, what? Just for a cable? But hey, something to think about. So some final items that we carry, for example, myself, I do carry extra heartburn medication in here because, as you know, I went through pancreatic cancer. They did remove my gallbladder as part of the surgery, so I need to use heartburn medication and some other medications. So I do carry extra here in the RV. Same thing with blood pressure medication. I do carry additional here in the RV just in case. But make sure you have what we call a go bag. A go bag that is ready to go, that has your important documents in it from the house, your medication list, important contact information in case you lose your phone. How many times that happened to us out there? Someone asks you, what's so-and-so's number? I'm like, I have no idea. It's programmed in my phone, right? And what happens if your phone was dead or you lost your phone, you lose all the information. So some type of backup of contacts, important numbers, make sure you have that in your go bag. And any other thing that's valuable to you, any valuable documents, pictures, and stuff like that, something you want to make sure you have with you, passports, for example, they're in your go bag. So you just grab that, throw it in your rig or in your tow vehicle, and you are good to go. So if you've prepared your rig, you have everything you need ready to go. You have food loaded, you have your clothes, you have your extra items such as extra power cables, extra sewer hose, extra water hoses, propane, food, everything you need you have in your rig and you're ready to go. But the important part is planning. Where are you going to go? Now you have a lot of choices that you could go, and it's based on where the storm's going. The good thing about a hurricane is that you have some time to think about where to go, because they are going to give you a pretty good idea of where it's going to make landfall, where the worst part of the storm is, what we call the bad side or the wet side of the storm, and the direction is to be going on land. So you think about looking at the forecast, when you start looking at maybe 4 days out, 5 days out, where am I going to go? What's my primary destination I'm going to if I need to evacuate? For us, for example, if a storm is going to come in between us and, say, Beaumont to the east, we would head west. We would head west towards San Antonio, Austin. We'd head to Kerrville. Reason why we go out there, because we know the rodeo arenas. We know where we can go and shelter the horses. They'll be protected in barns instead of just out in the open. And we enjoy going out that direction. Now, if it's going to hit dead center Houston, we don't know exactly where to go. We can go east or west. We'd probably go north. For example, our good friends, the Josie, well, it's just Martha Josie now, unfortunately, already passed away, at the Josie Ranch up in Karnak, which is outside of Marshall, Texas. A lot of our friends, including us and barrel racers, do go to the Josie Ranch to evacuate. They open up their ranch. Their hospitality is unbelievable to barrel racers, and we go up there with their horses, and they can house a lot of horses. So if we need to get north, far enough north where the winds would die down, even if it didn't make it direct onshore, we would be out of danger, we could go there. So that is another plan. So we have primary locations where we want to go. We plan our route, how we're going to get there, and execute the plan as necessary. Now, with that said, you need to have a secondary plan. We're going to go if the storm starts moving or shifting. Now, that does happen. Fortunately, unfortunately, I'll give you an example. It's my namesake. I'm from the Fort Myers area of Florida, and Hurricane Ian devastated that area here a few years ago. And the joke, so to speak, is all my friends and family live down there. It says, we wanted Ian to come visit, but not that way. With that said, all the forecasts within 24 hours of landfall was the storm was going to hit north around the Tampa area, which is 2 hours north of Fort Myers. Last second, it shifted down into the right, into the east, and made landfall in Fort Myers, between Fort Myers and Naples, and caught a lot of people off guard because they thought they were safe. They're going to be on the southern side of the storm. It's not that bad. They're going to get some storm surge because of the counterclockwise rotation of the storm, but they thought they'd be okay. And next thing you know, they were caught in the brunt of it. So you need to have a secondary plan where you're going to go if there's a shift in the storm, and can you execute that change rapidly? So during this video, I had an opportunity to discuss what we do to prepare the RV to evacuate during a hurricane and or a very strong tropical storm. Our list is really tailored to us because we have horses, we have border collies, we have maybe different needs you do, plus also how you pack a Class A might be different how you pack a Class B or a small travel trailer. What you need to do is make sure that your list is customized to what you need, what's important to you, what you need to carry, what equipment you need to carry. You might not need all this stuff. You might be able to go someplace with family and friends that you don't need all this stuff. You just need the basics in there. So tailor the list to fit your needs. That's the most important thing to do. So we hope you found this helpful. Like I said, it's not designed to be a comprehensive list of how we prepare an RV or how you should prepare your RV for travel during a hurricane to evacuate. But we hope that you at least pick up some tips, hacks, things that might help you so you get to the point where you're not panicked and you're ready to go and get out of harm's way. So we're Boken Adventure, and we hope to see you out on the road.